What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a little bit of speculation about who is developing Bloodlines 2. Now, this has been on my mind recently as I was playing some games that I think were developed by the developer that is, in my opinion, most likely the developer working on Bloodlines 2. But before we get into it completely, for starters, obviously this is just speculation on my part. I want to make that clear. This is, at best, an educated guess. Moreover, if you clicked on this video, I assume you probably already know the situation around Bloodlines 2, but just for completeness, we shall go over it anyway, albeit quickly. Bloodlines 2 was officially announced in 2019 under the developer Hardsuit Labs, who has actually been a developer for a long time, but under a couple different names. Although if you just search for Hardsuit Labs, that might be a difficult conclusion to arrive at, but Hardsuit Labs was formerly known as Builderbox Games, and before that, a lot of the people working there were actually employed under a different company called Zombie Studios, whose owners shut down and transferred all the IP, etc. to the new studio, which, while technically a different company, was basically just a different name, frankly. Hardsuit Labs is also based out of Seattle, which is important, and we'll circle back to that. Things apparently didn't go well with development, however, and Hardsuit Labs was forced to delay the release of Bloodlines 2 twice before ultimately being pulled from the project by the publisher, Paradox Interactive. Paradox actually owns the IP for Vampire the Masquerade. Now, Paradox publishes it under a couple different companies, but ultimately they actually do own the IP. Now, when this happened, Paradox announced that Bloodlines 2 was still in development, however, they were handing the development off to an unnamed team, and according to a report last year, actually, progress on that new development team has been going very well, and they're happy with it. Bit of a messy situation, but the game is still currently in development. However, I doubt we'll be seeing a release date anytime soon just yet. That brings me to the speculation about who is actually this unnamed developer. Now, I did want to start this part off by quickly saying I actually agree with the decision not to name the developer here. I think that's the very smart move, and actually is a bit of another decision that I think kind of lends itself to my idea about who this is. To no longer keep you in suspense, I believe to be Harebrained Schemes. So Harebrained Schemes was actually founded in 2011, also based out of Seattle, just like Hardsuit Labs is, and Harebrained Schemes has actually been very, very busy since 2011. They had released a game almost every year besides 2017 between 2011 and 2018. A couple of those were mobile titles. However, everything else was pretty much full releases, like the entire Shadowrun trilogy, a game called Golem Arcana, as well as the title Battletech. However, Harebrained Schemes was bought by Paradox Interactive in 2018. Harebrained Schemes has not had a full game release since 2018. They have released some DLC for Battletech since then, however. The last of which was released right before 2020. Now, we know Hardsuit Labs was pulled off of Vampire the Masquerade early 2021, which does leave us with about a year of dead space for Harebrained Schemes where we don't really know what they were doing. However, we do know that Paradox's decision not to just outright cancel Bloodlines 2 was actually based on a single pitch that they received, presumably from this unnamed developer, that led Paradox to not just outright cancel the title altogether. Now that right there is the interesting part to me, because in order for Paradox to have made this decision, they need to have received a pitch for a game that was already in development. That seems incredibly unlikely to me to be from anywhere outside of Paradox Interactive, because Paradox is, of course, a publisher as well as a game development studio. So in theory, they could have gone outside their company to have someone develop this game. But who outside of a company is going to be aware enough of the internal situation to successfully book a pitch on a game that is already in development? It seems incredibly unlikely to me that anyone outside of Paradox would have been aware of that situation in its entirety and be well informed enough to pitch that, which for me personally just makes it feel like that's definitely an internal studio that made that pitch. And, as I mentioned, Harebrained Schemes was acquired by Paradox in 2018. Now, you combine all of that information with the fact that Harebrained Schemes is a very low-key but well-respected developer. You don't see a ton of negativity aimed towards any of their games, Most people enjoy their games a great deal, actually. They have quite the fan base. And despite enjoying a decent amount of success, I think it's safe to say Harebrained Schemes stays largely out of the limelight, which I think puts it in the perfect position to take over a project without drawing a ton of attention to itself. And for all of those reasons, if I had to put my money on any developer here, it's definitely Harebrained Schemes. Now, again, that's just speculation, but I think that's as close to an educated guess as you can really get from this situation without just being outright aware of who's doing it. So there you go, guys. Just kind of a fun video of speculating about who's probably developing the game at this point. Don't want to ramble on too long, so truly, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Normally I do like reviews and stuff, but I decided to mix it up today. So thank you for watching nonetheless. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.